Good evening, everyone. It's Wednesday, 9 p.m. Brazil time, and it's time for class. It's time for Fluent for Real Life. If you don't know me, I am Renata. I am an English teacher. I have been for the past 15 years, and I am here to take your English from okay to the English that your career demands, the English that only 2% of Brazilians actually speak. Welcome to class. I'm going to welcome my partner MC. If you don't know her, she's speaking all the way from Canada, where she works, and we're going to have a great chat about the do's and don'ts of fluent English. If you want to reach that English, this is the class for you. We have great tips to give you and help you get there. Hi Gabi, hi Gabriela, our dear student, our gold digger Christian Antonella. Let's welcome MC in. Hi Marco Polo, hi Paula, Junior. Welcome guys. Hi partner.
Hey partner, how are you doing today?
I'm good, and you?
I'm good. And hello everyone. And partner, thank you for introducing me. And like Renata was saying, I'm just like you. Maybe you now, maybe you in the future. Maybe that person who is struggling or will struggle with English in the workplace.
Yes, and we are here today to talk about the 5 do's and don'ts of fluent English. I have to kick this class off by saying that we are thinking everything that I am about to tell you is based on the idea that you or anyone who wants to reach the English that we call fluent, that we, MC and I, think that is the English of real life, the English that actually meets your demands, especially the ones at work. And that's what we are here for. We are here, as I said at the beginning, to help you get from, go from that okay English to the English that your professional life demands from you, that your success demands from you. So we're going to repeat that every now and then, because the recommendations and the do's and the don'ts that we have to share with you tonight are all related to that. You can learn English just to travel. Not just as just, because it's a lot. If you have a specific goal, I want to travel, I want to speak English to communicate with family members. My daughter is married to an American. So there are so many goals, you have no idea. Like, people have very, very specific demands and goals with English. So we are going to think of this specific goal, right? So hi Chad, our American friend. I'm already considering him my friend.
Canadian.
Oh, sorry. Canadian friend. I'm already considering you, Chad, my friend, right? So hi, Jihile, Denise, our student. Hi, Jasada, our student too. Hi, Junior. Welcome, guys.
All gold
So
diggers.
yes, the class today is about, let's see here. Okay, 5 topics, because once again, I cannot see the little button to add images. I will try to, yeah, it's still a little bugged. Zuckerberg decides when he wants to do it and when he does not want to do it. So I'm gonna do just like I did last week. Hi B, my cousin, Marcel. I'm going to grab the phone and show the pictures in the computer, because that's how we roll with our plan A and our plan B. So let's go. Don't number 1. And I wanna invite you to bear with me, because you might feel a little bit shocked, with the things that I'm about to tell you. But take it easy. I am going to explain everything, and I'm going to explain exactly what I mean by each of them, all right? And if any of you have any contact with Mr. Zuckerberg, the owner of this app, can you please tell him that there's always a bug and I can never get to, recently for the last month, he's been giving me a hard time. Thank you very much. Okay, so let's get started. Hi, Amanda. So, number 1.
He doesn't go live, that's why. So he
Yeah.
doesn't know the struggle. You need to actually go to the Gamba, feel the pain.
Yes. Hi, Carol. Oh, our students are on point with our live lessons here too.
Gold diggers. They have a
Besides,
reason to
yeah,
do so.
besides all the stuff that they already have to do, they're here. Proud of you guys. Okay, so number 1, do's and don'ts of fluent English using translation. The training wheel effect. The training wheel effect. You know these little, if you guys know these little wheels here for kids, they're called training wheels. This is don't number one. Why is it don't number one? Why do I consider that it is? We are thinking about fluent English, aren't we? If you used Portuguese to learn the language, it's very hard for you to reach a certain point and stop using it and just get rid of it. I like to compare with my nephew, who is 3 years old, and he can already ride. You know, have you ever seen those little bikes, MC? I don't know if the kids do that in Canada, if they have those in Canada. It's like there's no
Scooter.
pedal. No, it's a bike, but there's no pedal. They have to drag, you know, use their little feet to get the bike going. Have you ever seen that?
No, and I don't have a kid, so I don't know that vocabulary yet.
So
It
in
happened.
Brazil, I didn't know that either. And you know, my nephew has one of those. And even though he is 3, he already learned how to balance himself on top of the bike without any help. So from there to an actual bike with pedals, you know, like pushing himself by himself. From there, it's going to be this. It won't take much. While on the other hand, yeah, Patricia is saying that it's common in Brazil. On the other hand, when you learn how to ride a bike with training wheels, let's get the training wheels back here. With the training wheels, oh God, it's so scary to get rid of them. It's so traumatic to get rid of them. It's like that Ross Phoebe scene, you know, don't
That's how
don't
I
leave
learned too.
me.
I
Don't
remember
let me
that.
go. Don't let me go. So yeah, it's very traumatic. So leave it in the comments here. How many of you, is it a scooter too, Chad? But it's not like the one where you stand up. It's a bike, you're sitting down. So, okay. Guys, leave it in the
Yeah.
comments if you use translation to study. When you study, if you make notes in Portuguese, if you are studying, learning a new word, and you go to the English Portuguese dictionary, you know, be honest. Be honest in the comments. And whether or not you believe that thinking in Portuguese is a problem for you to speak because you are thinking in Portuguese and the words won't come out, you know, of your mouth. MC, how do you feel about this translation thing? I know, and I and you know, we have a history with English, studying English and not using Portuguese to learn as learners. That's what we believe. But what is your opinion on that? On like translation as an obstacle?
So it feels uncomfortable when you're trying to learn English without translation, but at the same time, it's just much faster to learn, and you get used to the not rule or activity. You just get used to thinking and asking for an English explanation, just like you would do if you're searching for a word that you don't know in Portuguese. Let's say look it up on the dictionary or something like that. Google that.
Mm-hmm.
But what was your question? I was mentioning that before, but it was not
Yeah, like
exactly
your
your question.
experience, you know, with Brazilian speakers there in Canada, maybe that you know that they struggle because of the Portuguese that won't come out, you know, that will
So the
just
thing
stick.
the thing that I hear the most is actually people are so used to communicate in a certain way in Portuguese. It's not an accurate translation, just a matter of changing words. If you're trying to communicate and send out the same message in English. So if you stick to the Portuguese version in your head, all you're going to do is actually not communicating the way that native speakers or even other nationalities would understand right away. So they're always trying to pause, think, oh, that's what she meant, or that's what she means, or something like that. So it kind of creates a slow pace in the communication when you're trying to do that. And often you're just gonna, I hear that all the time, and it's kind of annoying. So I have other Brazilians with me, and in the same meeting, and the meeting is in English, and then they're gonna be like, "What is that word again?" And then they just throw out a word in Portuguese, and all of a sudden you're like, oh, okay, but what do you mean? Because I don't even understand how you're going to fit that word in the context that you're giving here. So
Hmm.
it's uncomfortable, and it's not a good strategy. And it's hard to get away from that place and kind of get rid of that habit. So it's not a good habit for you to have.
Yeah. And so translation is, in our opinion, if you are aiming at very, the 2% English, fluent English, it's going to be a barrier. It's going to be your training wheel. Getting rid of that will be harder for you. But it's not impossible. So let's do it. Let's do this. I have some tips for you to where to stop using Portuguese. And Denise, our student, said that not anymore since she became a gold digger, which is the nickname that we give our students. Only the Cambridge Dictionary when I don't know the word. Great. Cambridge Dictionary is one of my favorites too. It actually became one of my favorites. And I started using it more recently, and it's one of my favorites today. So here we have the don'ts. Don't write definitions in Portuguese. Don't. If you want to learn a new word, go to the dictionary and get the definition in English. When we read the definition in English, we learn the definition and we are already expanding our vocabulary naturally. Maybe the synonym that they use to explain the word is a new word for you, but a new word that you can understand. Maybe because it is Latin rooted, so you're learning two words and not only one. Another don't translate expressions. Don't. Oh, MC, you probably have a zillion stories related to translating idiomatic expressions from Portuguese to English, and it is one embarrassment after the other because you can get lucky. You can get lucky and try to translate something and get close, or even hit the jackpot. However, you're playing with your odds there. It's risky.
And
It's
you know
risky.
what? I'm lucky as well because I live in Canada and Canadians are usually like really, really nice. Living in the United States, I definitely had not the same experience. So for example, I remember this and I've never told that story before in Fluent for Real. I had to say the word lubrication. I was in an operational environment, okay, a car manufacturer. And then I ended up saying lubrification. And my coach right away, he understood what I meant, but he made fun of me for a solid 2 minutes because of that. He was like, "Come again? What did you say? What do you mean?" And then I'm like, "Oh, come on, it's not that different. Just correct me." And no, he made
Just
fun of me. He told that story to other a few other coworkers as well. But anyway, so yeah, lubrication, people, not lubrification. Okay.
and that word specifically, it's like, oh God, really? Okay. So, Marcio said that he used Cambridge Dictionary, but sometimes he doesn't understand the word very well. So, besides the dictionary, you can get another dictionary. I like the Cambridge one because they give a lot of sentences that they get
Examples, yeah.
from like real texts, real books. But what you can also do is Google in the news, try to find news articles where that word is used to see not only one sentence, but maybe a paragraph and try to understand how that word is used. So that's a tip.
I also when I'm in a hurry or something like that, what I do is actually I Google the word, then I Google synonyms, and then right away I see similar words, and
Yeah,
that helps.
where it's going, right? Okay. All right, so there we have okay, let me see here. Oh, Antonella remembers the alcohol gels, the alcohol story versus hand sanitizer. I was actually going to ask MC to tell that story. Now you have to tell that story, MC.
Okay,
Actually,
so
wait a minute. Let me just remember if I am supposed to ask you to tell that story now or a little later.
we can
Yeah,
tell it
a
now and
little
then we
later.
can skip it.
Okay, so go tell it.
Yeah, so for example, I came back from Brazil and I was sharing a story. So right after I come back from Brazil, and on Mondays, my English gets really rusty for some reason. Maybe because during the weekend I speak a lot of Portuguese here with my significant other, and also because when I come back from Brazil, mainly I was speaking Portuguese. And I was sharing a story with a group of coworkers and a group of peers, and I was letting them know that, but I was feeling a little anxious, COVID times, and etc. And I was rubbing kind of alcohol in my hands. I had alcohol in my hands all the time. And then I noticed that a few people were like camera on and trying to hold their smile and kind of, that doesn't feel so bad or it doesn't seem so bad. And then I'm like, oh man, okay, hand
Party in
sanitizer.
Brazil.
Yeah, I forgot about hand sanitizer because the word in Portuguese that we use is alcohol kind of thing. It's the same, right? I'm gonna rub alcohol in my hands, but in English, it's actually hand sanitizer. Oh man, yeah, and but anyway, I'm already used to being embarrassed.
Yeah, I would just like to add something. The fact that we are bilingual, this will always be I don't know, it's always going to be there, you know? It's like English is on one side, Portuguese is on the other side, and it's okay. We are bilingual people, you know? Proud of being bilingual. Sure. There is no shame in doing what MC did, coming back from Brazil and confusing a word. Even if you hadn't come back from Brazil, it's okay. You know, our brain works from two different sources, and sometimes they will get mixed up. It's fine. It just shouldn't happen 50% of the time. It can happen 10% of the time. You know, 90% of the time, that doesn't happen. But every now and then, of course, it can happen.
And also on top of that, you need to remember that I was the one realizing that I made the mistake. So this is a big win when you're learning English or practicing English or improving your English. Nobody actually told me. I just realized they gave me kind of a hint. Hey, by the way, I'm trying to laugh here. So then it triggered me like to think about it. Oh, okay. What did I say? What did I say? Oh, I made a mistake. That's usually how it goes. So it's a great thing if you're actually being able to recognize and understand and acknowledge your own mistakes. You're in a good path.
Yeah, that's
You're in
true.
a good path, fella.
Very true. It's the awareness path that we talk about so much here at Fluent for Real. Next one here then, translating texts. Don't do that. Don't translate, oh, I'm reading something, I'm going to translate it to Portuguese to understand. No, make an effort, go to English. Don't ask, how can I say that in Portuguese? Not to the teacher, not to your friend, not to yourself.
Again, we're talking
90% of,
about habits here, okay?
yes,
So the interest here is it's not forbidden and it's not gonna, oh my God, you're the worst human being in the world because you do that. We're talking about a habit here. It's easy for you to go down that road and not come back.
true. Very well put. And don't take notes in Portuguese. Don't take notes of anything that you are learning in Portuguese. Your own notebook should be written in English. All right? So the don'ts, these are tips of moments where you may not even realize that you are exercising your Portuguese instead of your English. So exercise your English in these situations as well. How about moving on to the second point of the evening? And I only have one hand to do everything. Okay, got it. Got it. Okay, there we have it. Number 2, do's and don'ts of fluent English, watching Netflix. What? Renata, are you crazy? I'm leaving this live lesson. I'm leaving. I am out of here. What do you mean by that? Hold your horses. What do I mean by watching Netflix? I mean that watching Netflix or watching anything else. Netflix is, of course, one example of a big source, an important source of film series and so on, okay? Now, watching TV shows, listening to music, watching series, films, etc., getting that input and not systematizing that information, transforming that into information, into knowledge, is not going to change your English. It's going to practice your listening if you are pushing yourself to the limit. If you are watching the series, let's say, oh, I can understand, a kind of understand, I need the subtitles, but still the subtitles are challenging for me. Great, do it. You just got to push yourself out of your comfort zone, not down the hill. So, or if no, I think I can challenge myself to a little more. So I'm not going to use subtitles, no captions, nothing. No subtitles in English or Portuguese. Of course, never Portuguese. But so, that is is helping your listening. Great, but not your speaking, not necessarily expanding your vocabulary in a productive way, in an intelligent and productive way. If you just listen, you may need to listen to that same word many, many, many times until you finally remember to use it. If you systematize what you are doing, you will get that word, pick it up from the movie, from the series, and transform that into knowledge fast. So if you think, oh, I am studying English, I am keeping up with keeping my English, or evolving and learning and growing just by watching, you're not. You're watching to have fun, to relax, to forget about life, forget about your troubles. You need to study what you're watching. So instead of watching one whole movie, 2 hours, why not get 10, 15 minutes of your favorite TV show and watch, 10, 15 minutes studying that, studying and systematizing. If you don't believe me, just think about it. How many hours the average Brazilian spends 1 hour on Netflix a day? There are 17 million Brazilian clients, Netflix clients in Brazil. That would add up to, a lot of people speaking English just because they're watching Netflix.
We
And
wouldn't have the 2% or 5%.
yes, we would have many more people speaking English. So it's not just about the practice. You are not a pilot, even though a taxi driver is not a pilot, even though he drives 8 hours a day. You got to be training for that. I want to drive, and I want to develop a certain skill. I want to drive on this specific, I don't know, this specific curve, this specific weather in this specific car. So you got to train for that. It's not about watching. And why am I saying that? Because I don't want you to waste your time. I know you're busy. I know you have already studied English. You're not beginning. You have gone through classes, maybe schools, maybe, online classes, I don't know what. But I know that you are busy and you are not prepared, you're not willing to waste time. So let's make every minute count. Make every minute count. Watch 10 minutes, but make those 10 minutes count for you. Pick the words you want. We can talk about that maybe on another day, because I think I would have a lot of instructions and tips to give you in terms of how you can self-study. But just don't think that that's going to perform a miracle in your English and that's going to be enough. You gotta switch it into something more systematic and something more organized and something more strategized. MC, do you have anything to add to that? I'm gonna read the comments.
Not really,
Meanwhile,
just that it's I'm gonna be your timekeeper,
okay,
and it's 7:30 already.
okay. So number 3, then let's move on to number 3. Okay, watching Netflix. Okay, just one thing about watching Netflix. It's not about watching. That's all I have to say. Number 3, then. The 3 don'ts of fluent English. Number 3, too many classes. Do's and don'ts of fluent English. Remember, fluent English, the English that only very few people speak at work, especially. We are aiming at you guys who need to speak English at work. Too many classes, which means I go to YouTube, I come here, I watch Fluent for Real, and I go to a zillion other, sources of explanations, grammar. I am listening to many teachers or to my teacher many hours a day, but that's all I do. You have to go full cycle. It's just like learning how to cook. If you only watch Rita Lobo on TV, that doesn't make you a chef. You gotta give it a try. You gotta get Rita's recipe. You gotta go into the kitchen. You gotta try it. You gotta cook, and then you gotta eat to see if what you cooked is good, is delicious or not. So you need to learn. You need the input. You need to practice, exercise what you learned, try to cook, and then you need the feedback. I need to know if I am on the right path, if I am on the right track. So just watching class, and I've seen this so many times, students come to class, watch class, go home, and they just forget everything that they learned because they didn't practice, they didn't force themselves to put that into practice and action. So it's the oldest cliche in the world of homework, of practice, of exposing yourself to practice speaking English, using what you learned. But it is what it is. So not completing the cycle is wasting time, is equal to wasting time. Because let's remember, every minute counts. If you are watching 2 hours of class but not exercising what you learned, you're wasting time because you're not going to learn what you studied. You need to get the input, practice, and get the feedback. That's how you actually learn. Okay? So complete your cycles, even if it means not watching as many classes as you would like, not getting as much input as you would like. You need to get input, practice, and then get the feedback. Let's see if anyone, okay. Oh, Mas, you had to leave. Oh, that's okay, Mas. You will be able to watch the class tomorrow. I mean, right after we finish. Number 4 of the don'ts, of the do's and don'ts, mixing up recognizing with recalling. This is something important for those. Do you guys think this? I understand, but I can't speak. Have you ever said that? Do you feel that?
I hear that all the
understand.
time. I
Me
understand
too.
everything, but I cannot speak the same way or something like that. So yeah.
I think that must be the number one thing that I hear as a teacher. Hi, Anata. Oh, nice to meet you. Oh, so are you an English teacher? Okay, good. I speak English. Yeah, I kind of speak English. Yeah, but I understand everything, but I can't speak. That's what I hear the most. And it's
And
a shame.
as I was learning, I remember reading and trying to understand and check if I was understanding everything. Ooh, I nailed it.
Mm-hmm.
My listening, depending on the speed and if it was paused or something like that, I wasn't so good. But then speaking is another game.
Mm-hmm. A whole different game. Hanisiani raised her hand. Hi, Isabella. Welcome. Welcome. So, mixing up recognizing with recalling. When you recognize English, which means you read, you understand, you listen, you understand. That is completely different from recalling, which means you are accessing the information that you learned and using it. Those two things are absolutely different. And then you get to the snowman effect. Ooh, I learned, I absorbed a lot, but I don't use it. So the passive knowledge is way, way, way bigger than the active. We should try to make this snowman a little more balanced, okay? So the tummy must be smaller and the head bigger to balance what you understand and what is active knowledge, the stuff that you actually put out, you write, you say. So how can we do that? I would suggest, the one thing that I suggest, it's not that I suggest, I just want you to keep an eye on what ability the exercises that you are doing are requiring from you. Most of the apps to learn vocabulary, to usually vocabulary, they offer multiple choice exercises, for example. Multiple choice means recognizing. I know which one is right, which one is wrong, but I don't necessarily have to remember the word or remember the information. An app that asks for recalling, that would be more challenging. I'm not saying you can't do the multiple choice exercises too. You can. They are great for a first moment, but you can't stop there. Otherwise, it's going to be one of those one of those moments where you go, oh, um, wait, one thing here. Okay, it's going to be. I got a little distracted here. It's going to be, Renat, I go to the grammar book or I go to my apps and I do all the exercises. I get 100%. My score is 100%, but I still can't speak. That's why you have to be able to recall the information, not only recognize it. So keep an eye on that. If you want more tips on how to do that, leave it in the comments. I would be happy to get deeper into that topic. Let's go to number 5 because our time is almost up already. And this, guys, is for you. After all this information, this is for you guys to chill, to calm down.
Take the chill pill.
Take the chill pill.
Friend.
Thinking, Denise said that she feels like this. So Denise, don't. Let's change that, right? Little by little, we are changing that. And number 5, Denise, that goes for you too. I think it's going to help you. Thinking too far ahead can be a great obstacle, can be a barrier, can get in your way. Don't think about what you don't know, how many things you still have to learn to reach the fluency that you want. Think about the next step you need to take. All I need is one step. After that one step, I will take another one. So I'm going to fix my pronunciation problem with this specific sound. I'm going to fix my problem with the simple present that I always mix up with present continuous. Fix that problem. Take one step at a time. Don't only think about what you don't know and how far it is. That's going to be overwhelming, and that's going to maybe push you back and get you frustrated and get you discouraged. So think about your next step, one step at a time, and you will get there. Trust me, it's not fast, but it's there. And celebrate your victories. Take one step at a time. Celebrate every victory, because after all, you guys are bilingual. Remember that. Bilingual people, you guys speak Portuguese and you guys speak English. Maybe not the English that you would like to speak. You want more. Amazing. Good for you. Good. And not everyone has that kind of ambition, and is aiming at their future. So, first of all, congratulations. That would be like I would say the first thing I would say is congratulations, and then celebrate your victories, guys. Celebrate your victories, because it will keep you going. All right. And I hope that these 5 tips were helpful to make your time worth it. Every minute will count if you strategize and use your time in a more productive way, thinking about the end goal. What's the end goal? Fluent English, the English that your career demands, the English that 2% of Brazilians speak. That's what we are here for, to help you get there. Right, MC?
Correct. Agree 100%.
So guys, thank you so much. Leave any questions, any comments. I saw here that someone asked about an app to improve speech. I do have some tips on apps to improve pronunciation, and conversation. I can give you guys that hint later on stories, that tip. But I would like to thank you guys for staying here with us tonight. Send your suggestions. Maybe next week you can pick the topic of the class. We are always asking you guys for suggestions. So send them in stories, in the comments, DM, however you prefer. Have a great evening, everyone. Have a good night. And we will see you guys next Wednesday at 9 p.m. Brazil time, as usual, as always. We are always here on Wednesdays, 9 p.m. Brazil time. Right?
I'll see you then at 7 Eastern time.
Eastern time
Thank you,
for
partner.
her. Brazil time for me.
Tips.
Thank you,
And
partner.
I hope you loved it. I hope you enjoyed it and put it in practice. Bye-bye.
Bye, 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 bye. Bye, gold diggers.